That's a weird jump that time. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Kevindiana Jones Show. I am your host, Kevindiana Jones. Um, this is going to be a good one tonight. I don't want to talk for too long, but I have had some things, this week in Indy. Just going to go real quick. I just got both of these items, as a matter of fact, today. A Carolean Berlin shirt, an extra small. I'm an extra small. I haven't been an extra small since I was 2. I feel like a toddler. So that's pretty fantastic. This is a wonderful shirt that finally fits me. Like, well, it's not baggy. I don't like it when it's baggy. You never see it really too baggy in the movie. So this is really cool. Maybe a little short in the sleeves, but barely. When I have the jacket on, it doesn't matter. I love this. I love this jacket so much. So, yay. And I also got, well, these weren't both today. I just got this today. I got these on Saturday. This is the Last Crusade bag strap with the bent buckle from Make It Jones overseas, and this is the Temple of Doom. And as you can see, this guy knows what he's doing. The quality of this is wonderful. It smells so good. And this is the kind of strap that you would probably hang off of the turret of a tank, and it would not break. This is very, very strong and very impressive. I love these straps so much. And thus far, no stains. Yeah, no stains. Nothing doing. Yay, that makes me very happy. We are in the middle of another heat wave. It was 90 degrees today, so I may keep the jacket off. I don't know. I do have the Last Crusade jacket right there, but I'm already hot, so I'm not going to wear the jacket. This is a summertime Cairo look, even with its the Berlin getup. So my wife wanted to watch the Indiana Jones movies this last weekend. She was like, we should watch the Indy movies because I love them too. I loved them before we met, and it's like, yeah, that's something that we should definitely do. So we did. We haven't gotten to Dial of Destiny yet, but we've watched all of them, and it's just really, really a fun time to watch that movie with your loved one. A good life. It's a good life when you can do that. Anywho, tonight's guest is someone very, very, very important to me because when I first started doing the whole cosplay thing on the Facebook group, Indiana Jones Cosplay Group, this dude was not only very supportive and very friendly, and like he made you want to keep going and get better. But then you see his actual cosplay pictures, and it's just like, oh my god, so this is how it can be. I see. This is how you could be doing a cosplay thing, and to this day, I still owe him to going the distance for this because I just saw how he looked and I wanted to look like that. I saw this guy looking, there's, to me, there's, Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones, but then this guy, there's Fox Lidstone, and he's right next to Harrison Ford. So let's go ahead and bring him on. I have too big of an ego with all these things I'm saying, but I would not be here doing this if it weren't for Fox. Sure, to this extent. And there we go.
Oh,
Right off the bat.
I think you have the wrong number. I don't know how I can't live up to that stuff, man. I'm still in my God, Kevin, you and I have worked so hard trying to get the connection happening. I'm not even fully in costume. Although if I
That works
position
though.
myself right, it'll look like I'm wearing a little hat.
Yeah, you just kind of do like this whole thing. Yeah. But the glasses work for the look, I gotta say. I don't know if those are exact Indie glasses, but they sure look like they kind of are. Oh, I lost you. I can't hear you. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. I don't know what just happened there. That was very odd.
I want to use hand gestures.
There we go. There we go.
You can hear me okay?
Now I can hear you, yes.
I'm also using hand gestures, apparently. Just got these. Brand new. No, these are just my living my life glasses. I had to get some new glasses a few years ago, and I'd been wearing kind of a little bit rectangular kind of intellectual look
Hmm.
glasses, and then I saw these, and they're not, they're not official glasses. They're not exact replicas, but they worked for me, and I completely nerded out when I saw them.
Yeah.
Well into my 50s, and I saw them, and I was just like, gotta be those.
What a
And
wonderful
fortunately,
feeling.
my
It's nice to
wife,
know that can still happen.
yeah, my wife is used to it by now. We'll say. Oh, listen! Look, all the time that you and I were trying to get connected. Look what I did. Look who
Oh,
I am. This is show number 306, I believe. Eddie
that's
was
fantastic. It
305
sure is.
last week. That's probably that backwards, but we'll fix it in post.
It will fix it in post. Exactly. That's
Fantastic. For
fantastic,
those of you
man.
who here, I'll do this. This is my number now. It's in
Oh,
Latin.
man. That's
Do your
awesome.
research. Figure this out. Do your research. Anyway, thank you for your patience, my friend, because I know that we were, for anybody who doesn't know the little backstory, I now have an Instagram account again. Again. I guess a couple of years ago, it was some kind of a Facebook freebie thing, and I got
Mm.
an Instagram account, which I did absolutely nothing with. And then I had other cosplayer friends who were getting upset with me because they were like, "You've got about 300 followers on Instagram and you haven't posted anything." And I don't know what everybody was waiting for.
That's a powerful
So,
name.
well, yeah. So we had
Name
the fire.
recognition alone.
Yeah, we had the fire a couple of years ago, and I
Oh.
completely forgot that in the wake of the fire, I now my email is Gmail, and my son and my wife, we've all got Gmail accounts. We had to change because of something that had to do with actually the landline, and they lost some information, all way over my head, the tech
Huh.
stuff. But the point is, we had to change that, and we had to chase down all the different things, eBay and Amazon and everything that had the old uh, email address on it for each of us and for a family email address we had. And I completely forgot until this evening that it was with the old account that my Instagram was. So now I've had to start a new Instagram, which means I've lost all my followers. I have no followers, which I guess is the right point for me to now plug and go. So my Instagram account is now just Fox Lidstone, and my son was so pissed off that we had to do this that he said, "If you do that, could you just post a couple photos on there for the people who are taking the time out of their lives to actually follow you?" And to those people who were following me and waiting for something, I'm sorry for that. And
Well,
I
I,
hope
I
you
have
like
been
some of the
posting
photos.
I've been posting many of the things that you sent me because folks, I asked for a photo tour. He ended up sending me like 20 beautiful, fantastic pictures that I
They
have.
were just sitting around collecting dust.
Well,
They
I
weren't
put good
doing
use to them.
anything.
I put good use to them because I use them every single day saying, Monday, this is happening. Monday, this is happening. I was posting a picture every day, and every day it was getting a great response. So all I got to do is post those things that you sent me, one of those a day. You'll get right back to 300 within like hours, probably, honestly.
Well, what more can a growing boy ask for? I guess that's what I'll do.
So what do you,
Don't look for me on X or anything like that. This is Facebook because I'm an old man, and now a few pictures on Instagram. Other than that, folks, just come by the house. Just travel up here, get in the driveway, give me a wave. I'll come out. We'll just talk. We'll
you know,
just talk to each other.
it's better that way. Throw a wave, honk
I
honk.
think so.
Hey, it's Fox. So what jacket are you wearing right now, by the way?
Oh, my friend, my Steel and Jones delicious chocolate ribby truck chase
Mm,
jacket, which I'm also using as a great circle jacket because I'm kind of thinking that
sure.
if it was the truck chase jacket and the boys who did Great Circle worked so hard on it, and it's just kind of a beat up jacket until Diego makes that jacket, and I will buy it when he makes it. But until he does, this will be my Great Circle jacket. And I'll tell you, and part of the reason I'm saying that too is, what are you doing? You pulling on your Are we jacket bros?
Now that I got to put mine on now. Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do
Yeah.
it.
This is the old Last Crusade by Diego. Yeah.
And and Roberto made me the first great. I keep gesturing back. I
Well
don't
done. Yeah,
have
no.
my camera tilted. There are, folks, you
Beautiful.
can see there's hats going up. There's more, picture more hats just right underneath Kevin's chin, right there. There's some more,
Wow.
there's a few more hats.
Right here. There's a
I
hat
went
right here.
wild trying to put it all back together. So, so Great
Well,
Circle is up there. And this one, hold on. Gee whiz. My God.
oh, there it is.
What the hell
Oh
was
my
I
God.
doing?
Oh man. Oh man. That warms my heart seeing this happen. Oh boy. There,
Well,
ladies and gentlemen, Fox Lidstone. There it is. Which is, by the way, your cosplay account on Instagram is just Fox Lidstone. It's not
it used
Fox
to be
Lidstone
Fox
Cosplay.
Lidstone, yeah, cosplay, and now I guess somebody else will probably. Do they have like estate sales or like, you know, blocker sales for those things?
Like yeah, like $20 worth. Anyways,
Somebody has all
so
my photos now. Yeah,
we'll get it
you
going
know,
again. So
say la
my
vie.
friend Fox, let's get going with the Kevin
Yeah, yeah,
11.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Let's get
yeah.
this thing going.
And
So
again,
when and
to everybody watching, I'm sorry that there was that delay. Like I said, that was on me. I was going to make a joke and say that we got disconnected because Kevin and I were trying to work out the whole tariff deal, and we were really close to an amicable gentleman's agreement,
the
but we kept
government
saying the
doesn't know
wrong
this is happening
keywords,
right now.
and they
Fools,
shut us down. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, let's not do that.
bureaucratic fools.
Yeah, exactly. They think they're
Anyway,
top men. Okay.
when and how did you first get into cosplay, Fox?
Um. Well. Uh. I got to tell you, one of the great things I think about this whole brotherhood, sisterhood of Indiana Jones stuff is that so many of us do have stories that kind of repeat the same footsteps.
Mm,
So I'm going to say some things that a lot of other really eloquent, well-spoken previous guests of yours have said. By the way, I'm shocked at just how many things Justin Anderson and I are on the same page about. I was watching the interview and finishing his sentences, and sometimes I try to get one step ahead and answer the question the way I would have answered it, and we were lip syncing each other.
I
But
love
yeah,
that.
well, I mean, I think it's, there's a lot of things that bridge us all and bring us together that we share, and part of it is to do with the hobby or the pursuit of this love of this character. I think a big part of it is just the kind of people that character speaks to and
Mm,
draws those people forward. They have a lot of characteristics, a lot of things that make them who they are that I think they find in other people. Having said that, what a big disclaimer to the start of that thing.
a damn good one.
So I never set out to be a cosplayer. I was just an India like a fan of Harrison Ford, but specifically his Indiana Jones movies.
Mm.
And as a fan, I got it in my head one day that I've got to get one of those hats and maybe a whip. God, that'd be like a great decoration to have like in my house. And way back in those Bantha Tracks days, the newsletter from Lucasfilm, they would
The
sometimes
Panther track,
have,
yes.
you can picture the artwork of the exact ads I used to say, where it's like, there's a feller named Lee Kepler, and Lee
Yeah,
is making these things available, and you can have this, and you can buy for the low cost of like $110 for a
110
jacket or
bucks. Yep,
something.
yep.
Yeah. And so I wanted those things. But back in them pre-internet days, that was literally writing letters and money orders to other parts of the world.
Yeah.
And so I sought out those things. I remember like writing a letter to David Morgan in Australia and saying, could I please, sir, have one of your whips? Um, and so I owned those things for a while. And
Wow.
then back in the um, mid 2000 aughts, like or 2004 or five, I found the Indie Gear website
Hmm.
and all the great socializing that happened with Club Obi-Wan and all that stuff, and suddenly became aware of a whole world of fellow fans who were becoming the new creators of the best looking stuff that was out there. And so I kind of became enamored with that. Still hadn't got it in my head that I was really going to, like, you know, put a whole outfit together or anything like that. But a couple of
Right.
years later, I'm in Nova Scotia, Canada, and our capital city in Nova Scotia is Halifax. And years ago, there was a convention called HalCon, and they kind of brought it back. And it was being held at the Lord Nelson Hotel, and it was this thing where people were going to go to this thing, but nobody seemed to know if anybody else was going to go, and a lot of other people went. And what it is I kind of cobbled together my sort of beta test version of the outfit, and people seemed to really react to it. And when they did that, I kind of also fell in with a group that did a lot of volunteer work called the Halcon Community Squad. And as soon as I started finding out that, these guys, they'll march in the parades, they'll go to fundraisers, they'll help out with different awareness runs for different disease and research for finding cures to diseases.
Wow.
Kids Help Phone, IWK Children's Hospital appearances, all these great things. It was just such a gift because I was like, all I got to do is put on the outfit and kind of look like this guy, and I get to go to these things and be a part of all of these great things. But I don't want to sound like a saint. It also meant that I was making a whole new group of friends who still knew how to have fun and laugh and great parties and going out after the convention and all those things. So it just kind of opened up this world. Suddenly, I'm walking into a pub with Captain America over on this side, Wolverine on this side, another friend of mine is Snow White, and we're all just marching in. And there's nothing more fun than when you show up in a place where people aren't expecting there to be characters, and then they're coming over going, I guess they're assuming you're not crazy people, but they
Yeah.
come over and they're like, could we have a photo with you?
Oh, the best.
That's sometimes followed by some of the more worldly people know that there are places where you go and you have a photo taken, but you got to pay a little bit of money to get that photo taken.
Right.
But for cosplayers who go to conventions, the majority of them are like, I'm just happy to have a photo taken with you. Just let me finish this Guinness, and then we'll do the photo. And so all of that kind of the way that the cosplay effort of a character that I love suddenly just turned into this opportunity to be part of a community and to socialize and get to know other people. It was just so appealing to me. And so from that point on, and I was always this guy who was like, I'm just going to put together the Raiders outfit. Just that's it.
Oh, that's
You
how
know,
we all start.
I'm not a selfish man. I just want the Raiders outfit. And I can tell you about how long that lasted. Not very long.
Until you got your first steal in Jones.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
obviously you do an amazing Indy. You also do a fantastic Han Solo as well. I know you dabble
Oh,
with Han a little bit. Do you
thank
have
you.
any other cosplays you would like to do, or have any planned?
Uh, Not really. I mean, Indiana Jones was my first order of business, and at the time that I decided that I wanted to do that, I was kind of like, well, there's a couple different. I mean, as you know, there's a couple of different versions of this hat and that jacket and everything else in Raiders. Okay, so let's kind of pursue those things first, and then after that, I was like, but I mean, I can't not do Last Crusade.
Yep,
And so I kind of and I when I say this, I don't mean any lack of love from Temple of Doom.
of course.
I just jumped to my next great love in the Indiana Jones series, and that for me is Last Crusade. So it was about putting that together and then doubling back to do the Temple of Doom thing. At the same time, I started to sort of like zigzag back and forth with like, well, I think I'm gonna do some Han Solo stuff, and it was like almost like the race is on, because at that point I was like, I'm not getting any younger, and
No
and I
one
kept
is.
thinking back how like Harrison Ford, man, wore that snug little yellow V-slit Han Solo outfit with the vest when he was like 35, 36 years old. And at that point, I was already past 35, 36 years
Yeah.
old,
Yeah,
which
there's
is
something
why.
to that. Yeah.
Exactly. And so I got into this mindset of like, well, look, I mean, I can, do a little cheat and maybe play some of these characters a little bit older than he was, but how far can I go with it?
Yep.
Cut to a few years later when I've put together the Han Solo vest outfit, the Bespin jacket from Empire. I
Best
also
Han.
put
I think
together
that's the
the
best Han.
yeah, and I put together the whole parka from like almost entirely from scratch, thanks to a
Awesome.
very gifted friend of mine who was like, "You really need to learn how to like sew." And I'm like, "So I just like source things. I can't make things." And but that friend was like, "I'm gonna help you to make some things, and we're gonna figure
Hmm.
this out." Make some things and then also buy some things. So I did that as well. Never got around to doing the Return of the Jedi thing, but the fun thing is while that was going on, one of my other great cinematic loves, and again, it's not simply that I love Harrison Ford, although I do,
Hmm.
but Blade Runner.
Hmm.
I think Blade Runner could have starred Dustin Hoffman, and it almost did. And I would still love it as much as I do because of everything that it is. Because it's not
Absolutely.
just Harrison, it's a lot of
Absolutely.
things that are right. So I was like, I got to do Rick Deckard. I got to get that figured out. And I
Yeah.
mean, with Rick Deckard, it's kind of one outfit, but a variety of shirts and pants as a kind of combo. Along the way, cosplay friends of mine started encouraging me to try other characters. There's a video game called Bioshock Infinite, and a friend of mine was
Yeah, I
like,
love that game.
Booker,
I love that
yes.
game.
So I put together a Booker DeWitt outfit, and
Wow.
sorry.
I say wow to that.
Oh, I'm shocked I didn't when I was smothering you in photos. I'm surprised I didn't go. Oh, here's a couple Han Solo and Bioshock Infinite too.
Do that next.
Uh, I will. And then there's another video game called Borderlands, and a friend talked me into doing the character Handsome Jack,
Hmm.
and that was a bananas cosplay, but I had a great time doing it. Another friend, I'm not a World of Warcraft guy, but I have great respect for the love that community has for the. So I had to be kind of walked through the idea of, okay, there are these like blood elf. Um, Sith lords or something.
Something of
Forgive
the
me,
ilk.
World of Warcraft people. But a friend of mine helped coach me through my first armor build, and I put together that outfit as well. Uh, but again, all along the way, there was just always upgrading and making better the Indiana Jones stuff that I, because as much as I was having fun kind of doing these other things occasionally, Indy has always been like that foundation. It's like I've always stepped back to that, and like a lot of people, like a lot of folks who cosplay Indy, I'm sure there are plenty of Monday to Friday days where I'm just working a little bit of something into my regular wardrobe. I don't think I go, as long as it's not a heat wave. I probably don't go 2 days without wearing one of these jackets out the
Right.
front door. And I've got a couple of different satchels that I just carry my stuff around in. Some days I'll wear the Aldens, some days I won't. But yeah, there's always that. It's fun to dress up full on as Indy, but it's like I kind of always want to be carrying a little bit of them with me because you never know when shit's going to go sideways. And
Absolutely,
you'd
buddy.
hate to not be ready.
It would feel awful if you didn't have something proper on, if you had to
Can
punch
you
a
imagine
Nazi every
saying
now and
like,
then.
I got it, if only where's my hat for
Right?
one
It'd be the
day?
worst.
Yeah,
As I
exactly.
previously mentioned, you were one of the shining objects in my development as cosplay by just being such a great supporter in what I was doing when I was just starting out. And I appreciated that so much, and I still do to this day. How important do you think it is to support newbies coming out onto all this stuff?
Um, so important, so very important, and I could not be more proud of this sort of new generation that has picked that mantle up in a way I never would have expected. I mean, when I was part of the indie gear community, it was a very sort of, a great place to go where you could just be like, hi, I'm new. I want to do this. I do not know where to start. And there's always a lot of information. And a lot of people, and they were rightfully so, were like, the information is here. You do have to do some reading to get through some of this stuff because the
Right.
answers are not simply, well, buy this, get that, you want that. But the first few pages of the Indie Gear website is basically saying, here are the original makers. Here are the people who were doing this and that when it was happening then. But you have choices. Here are the people that are doing this, that, and the other now. Because people can't just go, well, I want all the original stuff. Where is that stuff? It's not all necessarily available. It's not necessarily within your price range.
Not
So
necessarily the best.
well, and that's the other thing. So it's kind of like you're on your own journey now. You're on your own journey to find the stuff that's going to work for you.
Yeah.
And we can still make some recommendations. We can still do things like that. But the whole community was kind of confined by you got to get in the door and be here, find us. Because for a lot of years, that site was around. I had no idea it was around because there are people
Hmm.
who are just not as techno or internet savvy as this guy, and you kind of had to stumble your way into it. But now, and around the time that I was discovering that was around the time that the internet was kind of also exploding into this whole world of there's so much information about so many things out there. You just need to be looking in order to find this. And if you think you are somebody somewhere in the world who has a hobby or an interest or whatever, and you're very alone or you don't know who else is maybe shares this in common with, then you're not looking hard enough
Yep.
because they're there. They just need you to search a little hard, and the internet is helping you. So when I started to see things like that, Facebook, communities and things like that, and groups like the Indiana Jones cosplay group and Raiders of the Lost cosplay, and now like California Jones, and all the different groups that have kind of said, well, we represent this geographical section over here, but we're open on a global scale to befriend folks who are like-minded, and we are more than generous with the information we have put together. I'll be honest, the thing that I felt the most loss of in the last few years is just like, wow, the last couple of years, it hasn't been a really easy thing for me to make it work to just kind of jump on a jet plane and get to where some of you guys are. But I think, I want to say I'm quoting Morgan when I say his phrase about you're a friend I just haven't met yet. And that seems
Yep.
to be so true in this community. There are
Oh,
so
hell
many
yeah, it
people.
is.
And I just know to watch their videos, to see you got Trent and Kirk and Nathan and everybody and yourself just, talking in such a passionate way about this character, that I just can't help but think that, like, oh man, I would just so love to hang out with these guys and not just, have fun in the park and talk Jones talk kind of thing,
Right.
but just to hang out with for the
That's
day. Like, wait till it's really, really way too late. And guys, we got a lot of stuff to get to tomorrow, so we
yeah.
got to call it a night. I just know when I'm looking at a group of people who are like that, and so it kind of kills me that I haven't been able to kind of meet yourself and so many other folks in person yet. I mean, there's great get-togethers too that are overseas, and I just haven't
Yeah.
managed to do that. So,
Well,
so
I think maybe New York Jones might be the closest to you in Nova Scotia. I'm not too sure,
well,
but just
yeah, I don't think you're
throwing
wrong.
that out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I mean, uh, the movies will back you up. There are plenty of times where you literally see the plane flying up the eastern seaboard, and then in Last Crusade, it actually scoots right over Nova Scotia and heads straight to Newfoundland, which is where I was born,
Ah,
before it heads. I'm doing this backwards now for how this is maybe going to show later, but before it heads, then off to Venice, right? Yeah, off to Venice.
right.
Yeah, I'm originally from Newfoundland, and big cheer in the crowd when we saw that. Like
That's
way
so
back in
cool.
1938, Indy must have stopped at an airstrip for a quick refueling before he took off again. But yeah, so you're not wrong. You're not that far away, my friend. Our time zones are not that different.
It's not too bad. It's not too bad. What advice would you have for anyone starting off cosplaying?
Wow. Be very forgiving of yourself. You
Good.
know, not only because you're still learning, and there's a lot of details to all this stuff, but not everybody just, goes into some kind of an Austin Powers silver tube and just goes and comes out in smoke and they're in the outfit. There's lots of different pieces out there, but these aren't like,
Yeah.
this is not just in like you know, one drop in the hat, forgive the pun, of money where you can just go, I'm just going to drop $3,000 and have stuff that I think looks as good as anybody else. I mean, again, other guests you've had have said this. There's, if you've got a hat of some kind on your head and some kind of brown jacket and you affect the energy of Indiana Jones, or you just are wearing the love of it on your face, you're Indiana Jones, as far as I'm concerned. You are
Here's to
doing it
that.
right. If you want to spruce up here, I'm gonna hold on now. Where we go? Cheers, my friend.
Oh,
Cheers.
cheers. Cheers to you, my friend.
I'm drinking from
Beautifully
a
said.
cup. I'm drinking from a cup that a friend of mine had made. That my friend who does Henry Jones Sr. I was at a convention. He had this. He had his mug. His name is Sir Knight Cosplay. He had his mug facing out, and when he saw me coming, he went, "Hey, look at this." And
Oh,
I
that's
said, "Great."
incredible.
I said, "You don't want me to steal your mug, so make a mug for me, please, or I'll
So you mentioned,
put my lawyers on you."
oh yeah.
But
This is a
yeah, I
very
mean, that's the number
law-filled
one
show.
thing is, it's not a race to become Indiana Jones or to get the gear where you think it needs to be. And we're all on just a path of where we want to take it to. For example, over the years, I've owned a number of different whips. I
Hmm.
currently own a nylon whip that someone was very kind to give me, and I'm waiting on the first of a couple of whips where I'm going to be restoring some whips so that I feel like it's going to work with my collection.
Cool.
But Trent would be disappointed to know all these years and all this seniority over, and I can't, I can't crack a whip very well. I can crack a whip, and then on the
Hey,
second
that's
crack,
something.
I might hurt myself. So I need a lot more practice. But I'm forgiving myself because there's a lot of stuff going on in life and I
Sure.
put some things together. So yeah, any new cosplayer, just relax. It's not a race to the finish line, and nobody's trying to make you go broke doing this.
Yeah.
Focus maybe on one piece that you really want and find something that works good enough for now. Because
Hmm.
again, we've got a big community of people that are always looking for stuff. Maybe you've got something that works for you now, and in 6 months, you might want to get something different. You can probably find a buyer for the thing that you're ready to give up. So
Exactly.
don't stress yourself. That's cosplay should always be about having fun and camaraderie and community. And just because, I mean, at the end of the day, what is it? It's celebrating a character that's had an effect on our lives. And, that's the fun right there. You're already having fun if you're doing that. All right.
Exactly. That's
I'll
that's
shut
the
up for
whole
a
point of
second
it.
now. I'll let you talk.
That's the gist of it. No, that's perfectly said. That's the gist of it. Fun. That's what I said
Yeah.
last episode. This is all about having fun. And when you get stressed out or something feels dramatic, something's not going right. Someone's doing it wrong. That means that someone needs to pull the brakes and just be relaxed because this is all based on total fiction and total dress up. It's just fun, man. So you did mention here in Nova Scotia. I think you did say that there's a Halicon convention that does happen there. Have you gone to one? And if not, would you go to a comic convention?
Uh, you mean as in like travel from here to go to another one somewhere else kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I absolutely would. And I
Hmm.
have done a few different conventions in the Maritimes, meaning that because up here in Canada, we've got a few different provinces that are all
Hmm.
very local to each other. You got Newfoundland and Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, and New Brunswick. And all of them have their own cons. I've been to a number of different conventions like that. Years ago, before I was ever cosplaying, I actually did go to a few different comic book conventions just for the love of going to a comic book convention. I remember going to
Right.
the Javits Center in San Diego, I think
Huh.
years ago before San Diego Comic Con became the big thing it became. But no, I would love to do that. Now, HalCon has brought some big guests to town, and there have been times where I've been really thrilled to be at this thing and sometimes you'll be walking by where they've got like a whole separate section where you can go in for autographs and all that. And I'll admit that there have been some great moments where just wearing the gear, I've seen some celebrities that have this moment of going, like, and clearly just pointing out, like, what? Who? Get him over here. And that's been very nice. That's been very flattering.
That's
But
beautiful. Oh my God, that's
but yeah,
fantastic.
I would love to go to one sometime and just kind of do the thing because again, it's a little bit of a weird experience to because I mean every single year that HalCon happens, I go back and I try to do over the course of the 3 days a couple of different characters,
Hmm.
but one of them is always got to be Indy,
Sure.
whether it's and and in the years that have passed, of course the other fun thing that's happened is that just when what's that phrase that Pacino says in Godfather 3, just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Pull me
The
back
minute I
in.
found out that Harrison Ford was just like, I'll do another one, I want to do another. I was just like, you son of a gun. I thought I was going to eventually retire from this stuff. And now
You son of a
and
bitch.
the truth is, I love him for this because I pretty much turned to my wife and went, so I'm going to be doing this until I am dead. I I can get good and gray and I will still happily do this. And I mean, thanks to things like even the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, it's like, if I get a bum knee one day, it's like, I am going to dig out I'm going to find that cane, that walking stick, that
Oh God, yeah.
old man Indy had and just walk around with that. I've already done my own version of the
The eye
eye
patch.
patch Indy,
Beautiful.
the younger, older eye patch Indy guy.
It was beautiful
And,
work.
sorry?
That was beautiful work. I'd never seen anyone
Oh,
do that before. It was such a good idea. Such a cool idea.
thank you. I was just, well, I mean, I've always had fun with just the idea of, it's often been said that, we see Indy in that outfit, in his
Mhm.
Superman outfit in those movies. And it doesn't change a lot. Changes a little, and to all of us with the love of the cosplay, we know all the details.
Right.
But there never has been a movie where it's like, oh, in this one, cargo pants, olive green cargo pants. He's no longer wearing, army pinks. And but the fact is that if he did do that, we would all just kind of some of us would get upset.
Yeah.
I do understand that.
Like what if
But
he
some
like
of us would
Calvin and
also
Hobbes? He
go,
wears
well,
the
that's
same
kind
thing.
of well, that's the thing. I mean, we're also kind of like by the time it's happened, we've embraced it or we've rejected it or whatever. I mean, I remember sitting there going, what is he wearing? Like a cardigan? When I first saw Mystery of the Blues, I was like, he's got a cardigan on and a walkie-talkie. Like
It
I don't
was
even know
something
what's going on,
different.
and he's got a beard.
And dark gloves. Dark
Yeah,
gloves.
exactly. But the fact of the matter is that's just what Indy wears. But the truth of it is that if you let that extension happen in your head where you're like, it's fun to think that a character like that would have had a lot of different experiences and adventures and just sometimes just like going on an archaeological dig. Maybe there was no, gunfights or Nazis or anything. It was just these stories and the idea that I think there's so much Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones that I think in the same mental breath we can picture Indy not giving a shit about what he's wearing as we do Harrison Ford not really giving a shit. Like here are the things that I put on, but if someone was like, well, Mr. Jones, there's your shirts are all at the dry cleaner this week, but here's an olive green shirt. It'd be like,
I'll take it.
okay, it's a shirt. What do I
Whatever.
care? I just need the whip and maybe a hat to keep the sun out of my eyes. But I mean, so over the years, I've done a few different versions too, where it's just like, oh, now I always kind of the scapegoat for me was the idea of when I just had my beard growing in a bit thicker, I'd be
Hmm.
like, now here's my idea that it's after Last Crusade and maybe even after Mystery of the Blues, and so because of that, anything goes. He
Right.
could be wearing who knows what, maybe like
Yeah.
a khaki colored jacket one day or something else, a different scarf, or this or that, just
Chaps.
because.
Who's to say?
Well, exactly. So that to me is kind of the thing. I mean, I just like playing around with that stuff. Yeah, there we go.
That's fantastic.
I've
Well,
rambled on about that there.
No, the thing about that is that we've answered like two questions that I was going to ask and all that. So that's the great thing about this show that you might have seen is that it just structures itself that you're going to answer my next question somehow naturally. And I love that
When I
about this.
got to the end of that one, I was like, shit, what was his question that he asked me that I've just finished answering? I could not remember it.
You know,
Anyway,
it's quite all right because we got to a wonderful place. Speaking of Harrison Ford, I think I know the answer to this. If you had to pick one between Indy and Han, who would win? Or is it not that easy?
and no, it is that easy. What's not easy is coming up with a clever way to say it. Indy would win.
Gotcha.
Indy would win. And
I,
I
I
was
I
going to
feel
make
like
some
that's
sort of
probably the
joke
most
about
safe.
it depends on whether or not it's been re-edited so that, but blah, blah, blah.
Shoots
There's
first.
some kind of joke in there. But the truth is, yeah, no. Indy probably, Han would have to be a very different guy for Indy to just plug him like that.
Hmm.
But I think if there was some sort of an imminent threat, so in a scenario where you've got Han holding short round with a blaster to his head, then yes, Han has drawn his last breath. Sorry. Sorry, Captain
Fantastic answer.
Solo.
What would you say of all the indie movies is your favorite one?
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Ah,
And for me, that's just because I was there. I
nice.
was I was like 13 years old and in a theater when this thing came up out of nowhere and just
Awesome.
clocked me.
Oh, that's
Um,
awesome.
and I mean, I grew up completely enamored with the world of Star Wars. Like I was there in '77. I can still remember coming out of the theater, and it was about 8 o'clock at night, and the sun was setting, and it was blue sky with stars above, but orange on the horizon,
Yeah.
and it felt like a whole new planet. And I was morning, noon, and night just eat a healthy diet of Star Wars, like pretty much every kid my age at that time. One day, a friend of mine said, Harrison Ford's in this movie. It's called Raiders of the Lost Ark, and we should go and see it. And we went to go see it. And for some reason, in my head, in my narrow way of thinking, this was going to be a science fiction movie. I hadn't even seen the poster yet. Maybe it was because there used to be a Saturday morning show. I think it was called Arc 2. And it was a
Hmm.
science fiction show where they had this big tricked out Winnebago where people were trying, they were the last of humanity and finding what. But for some reason in my head, I had this as that it was going to be a new space adventure with some kind of space ark. And
Right.
they were going to raid the space ark. I knew nothing about it, not, and I don't know why I thought that. It was stupid to think
The
that,
kid, the
but
child
I
mind.
did
That's what it
think
does.
that. And all I'm saying is that I went into a theater, not even know, like when they when they put up the words, South America 1936. That was a big wake up for me. What in the hell?
Oh,
We're running around in the jungle and it's 1936, and everything about that movie. I mean, that movie is so. I've always said that look, one of the biggest favors that ever happened here is Spielberg needing to prove to a major studio that he could prevent going over budget on a movie, because that movie, as great as it is, as well written and shot and acted, and the cinematography, all those things, the fact of the matter is that movie is fast
yeah.
and low budget and dirty and sweaty and feels like, I think that's part of what inspired so many kids, like the guys who did Raiders the adaptation, of just going,
Like,
what is stopping me from the woods are just there. There's some woods. I can get it. The woods are green and light passes through the leaves. If you were anywhere in North America or planet Earth and you enjoyed that movie, you could probably find some location where you could do something indie-esque with maybe mom and dad's VHS recorder or something. So that movie just, and of course the energy level of that thing. I mean, even now when I go back and look at it, from the moment they are they are opening the well of souls, and it's just like, think about what that movie then goes and does. It's just like, let's do the whole well of souls thing, and the snakes, and the taking the ark out, and the whistling electrical crackle in
Yeah.
the air, and
Beautiful.
then
So
now it's the
beautiful.
next morning. Now they're locking them in, the escape. What's next? Airplane fight. Let's do that.
Airplane
What's
fight.
next? Onto the truck. What's next? One good night's sleep, and then I've got to swim over to a submarine. Indy is working hard in that movie. And by the way, even as a little kid, when Captain Katanga is introduced to them and Sala gives him his hug, even as a little kid, I was able to appreciate the sheer level of exhaustion that
Mm.
Harrison Ford's Indiana Jones had in that moment. Plus, also getting kind of hugged on the old bullet wound there. But even as a kid, I was like, that must be what it's like to be an adult and be really tired, like super duper tired.
Oh, that's why naps happen. I see why naps happen now.
Exactly. Why do the grown-ups want us to be so quiet and so they can have a little mid-afternoon Saturday afternoon nap? That's
Oh,
why. Right, right,
that's
right.
why. So Dial of Destiny just had its 2-year anniversary of
Yes.
premiering. What were your thoughts on the movie?
I love that movie. I love that movie a lot. And God, maybe the fastest way I can answer it is to say that when John Rogers was on your show and was talking about all of I find sometimes a group of people will put together a movie and people don't quite know what to make of the movie because we all, especially if it's something in a franchise, we all have expectations and we build those expectations based on the little sneak peeks we get of something. Ooh, here's a spy photo of so and so wearing this. Here's even sometimes a trailer. Here's a trailer that shows us that's happening.
Right.
We get it in our heads that we're going to see certain things. And the truth of it is that movies always have those in between moments where things slow down and there's conversations and there's sort of moments where we realize what the stakes are and what's in play. I mean, I feel like every time I go back and take a look at Dial of Destiny, I see something new that's really quite sophisticated, even though Mangold made something that is unmistakably, and again, I'll steal from John Rogers, I don't think there could have been a better choice to replace Spielberg in doing this because again, those first 25 minutes, that is absolutely pure Spielberg has been recreated. I
Pure
mean,
indie.
if
Pure
if
indie.
they, if Harrison Ford just could have filmed something like, I know everyone's like, oh, the de-aging is somewhat imperfect. It's like, first of all, that stuff's always going to end up looking a little different when somebody
Yeah.
goes, there's new technology, we can tweak it here, tweak it there. Just like with Rogue One, it's like, you didn't like that Princess Leia? Well, now that we can actually do this, you can actually
Yeah.
have it be a little bit better. I mean, one day
On
everybody's
our
going to have their
phone,
own
probably
copy
even.
of every movie. But when I saw that, and I mean, I thought one of the real sort of insultingly dismissive jokes that people were making out of the movie was when they talked about, haha, Shia LaBeouf was in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and we didn't like him. We didn't like him, the actor. We didn't like the character. We didn't like him. And then we see Dial of Destiny, and it's like, and Mutt's dead. And to a lot of people, that seemed to be like a little punchline. Like, there you go. You didn't like him? He's dead now.
Yeah.
But as John quite rightly pointed out, they actually did the brilliant thing of taking that idea and turning it into something that had such weight for why Indy at that point in his life has had one of his legs kicked out from under him and he's down. He's down on a knee trying to figure out how to stand back up. And I just think that's a real level of sophistication in a movie that is about a lot of things,
Yeah.
about the idea of feeling like you're giving up and feeling like you're lost and you don't know what your place is in the world, but then being afforded an opportunity to maybe go down a path you thought you'd never go down again and maybe find something new in yourself or something worthwhile to share with others or to give to others.
To make a
Um,
difference. To make a
yeah,
difference also.
exactly. And I mean, that's to me, that's what Indiana Jones has always been. I mean, one of the shows you did, I remember you, well, not even just about the show. That thing that was happening a couple of years ago. What difference did Indy make to the movie and all
Right.
that? And I think it
Yeah.
was Justin that said the part about he it made a difference to me, which is the perfect
What
answer.
an answer. God, what an
But the
answer.
other thing too, I mean, even before I heard Justin say that and thought like, "Mwah, you're so smart," um, is on top of it. It's just the idea of, there can be such a thing as a movie. I mean, first of all, I was always like, well, if the whole thing happened the way it happened, then the Ark just would have been left on that little island. All the Nazis would have been destroyed, and anybody could have found it, including
Yeah.
more Nazis. At least Indy found a
Bunch
way
of
to get
pirates.
this home and into the hands of top men. But I don't think it was ever about, like, did he do some sort of a thing at the end that did a thing that made something matter more? And it's
Right.
like, even if he didn't, that son of a bitch never stopped trying. And
Even getting
that's
shot.
to me, yeah, that's to me what the movie is about and what the character's about is having an idea, a sense of what's right and what's wrong. I mean, that's in Temple of Doom too. It's like we talked about. Indy's a bit of a he's a bit of a
A rogue
SOB,
bastard.
and that's the thing. And by the end of that movie, and those kids, chief among them, Short Round, really swayed his heart and made him grow as a character. We watched this character grow and grow and grow. He's a guy who is kind of damaged because he never had what he felt was a healthy relationship with his dad, the one
Right.
guy he really could have had some great conversations with. So we watched that character grow. But the point is that when he's that man of action, when there's a job to do, when there are people in danger, maybe even humanity's in danger, this guy doesn't stop trying. He is not thinking about the finish line. He is not like, oh boy, when I get back to Washington, there'll be a great payday in this for me. It's not about that. It's about, I can tell good from bad, and I am not going to lay down and let the bad guys roll over me.
Because I got it. Just because I got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and even if he loses, I mean, my God, you look at the airplane fight. It's like, is Indy the stronger fighter with the German kid? No, the guy's got him outmatched.
Yeah.
Is Indy going to fight dirty? Is he going to bite this guy in the arm? Yes, he's going to
Yeah.
do that.
Fuck,
He's
I
going to
would
do
too.
that because the Ark needs to get out of there
Yep.
and into the right hands. So, yeah.
Ah, man, you're exactly what I wanted you to be on this show.
Oh,
This is, if you could believe it, the final of the Kevin 11 questions.
oh
We've
my
already
God, I
flown
was I
through them
was
all.
nervous that there could be 11 questions and I would not have a clue
We
how.
did it. No, we did it,
Yeah,
my friend.
sure.
This is the final one. We've already
Okay.
brought it up a little bit. Do you have a favorite Star War?
It's always been The Empire Strikes Back for me. It is. And listen, I have a lot of love for a lot of great things they have done, even
Sure.
in some movies that people haven't appreciated. I've always liked that they are trying to do something
Yeah.
and reinvent. And we live in a world right now where anytime anybody goes, well, here's the new thing that I'm going to do, again, especially in a franchise, and people will pick it apart from the get go. I've always been a person who's like, let them make the thing. You don't
Do
have
it.
to like the thing. It doesn't have to be your new favorite thing. It can just be a
Watch the
thing,
other
and
one.
maybe it works for you. And if not, there's more stories to tell.
Yeah.
But
Watch
I
the
got to
one
say,
you
like
like.
well, yeah, and I mean and by the way, when you say when you very specifically and quite correctly said Star War, any kind of Star War. In that, I do have to make special mention of one other thing though, and it's this: the Mandalorian series. When that
Hmm.
thing showed up, I will give it the credit it deserves and say that there was something, some kind of really cool 70s energy that found its way back into Star Wars in that particular form. I really just enjoyed what they did, especially because too they came headlong at some stuff that a lot of people have just kind of shrugged at and rolled their eyes at. Like, what? Did you ever see the Star Wars Christmas special? They've got this, and it's kind of silly. And they
Right.
got that, and these guys were just, and again, I think great things in art can happen when somebody goes, I don't care what anybody else is criticizing something for, what their expectations are. I have an idea, and even if nobody likes the idea, I'm going to go forward with it. People will like it or they won't. It'll be a failure or a success or somewhere in between. But at some point, somebody goes, "Oh, you guys all got used to Superman with no shorts on." Well, I'm putting him back in the shorts, and he's bringing his dog.
I
And
can't
I just
wait.
love that. I just love that, like, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, then what are any of us doing? I mean, that's what the AI can do. The
Yeah,
AI can go, I
yeah.
just swallowed up a bunch of stuff that somebody already did, and now I'm going to regurgitate it
Here,
back to you. And you're going to
here.
think it's like some kind of greatest hits collection when in fact there's been no innovative thought going on there. And
Yep.
that's what I like to see is when human creators kind of go, let's do something. And sometimes it's like, let's shake up the box. Not everybody's going to like us for this,
Right.
but that's what art is supposed to be.
Exactly. What a fantastic ending to the Kevin 11, my friend. What a fantastic ending. My closing question to you for the show. Every answer has been one thing. What would it be?
Oh, Kevin, that was fantastic. You completely froze up on my phone and you said, what? And then it went, wow. And you went, would it be? So what was the
Okay.
question?
Then let me ask again. If you
All
could
right.
tell if you could tell your 9-year-old self anything, what would it be?
9 years old. Okay. So 9 years old. It's 1976. Here's what I'm telling that kid. There's some cinema coming your way. And it's not just going to be great entertainment. It's going to have an irrevocable effect on how you view the world. It will also provide you with a great hobby down the road. I don't play golf or anything. This is kind of it for me.
Nor do I.
It'll give you a great hobby down the road. But what it's also going to do is give a whole generation of people and the generation after and the generation after that this cultural touchstone that no other differences that we have from each other, where we live in the world, what our sexual orientation is, what our religious orientation is, whether we like, whether we're vegetarians or carnivores, any of those things, we'll still have these things. And when I say that, I know it sounds like I'm taking the easy route and saying Star Wars and Indy and that, but I'm not. I'm talking about everything that started to happen thanks to the likes of Spielberg and Lucas creating these momentous movies that everybody tried to kind of follow in the footsteps of and often succeeded.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't get a Back to the Future series if stuff like a Star Wars series and an Indiana Jones series didn't work. We
I
don't
think
get
about
people
that a
going,
lot.
I want to do a movie where these guys are like exterminators, but it's ghosts.
Yeah.
Like during the 80s, there was just this moment where people went, and by the way, the big crazy action movies too, all the Schwarzenegger stuff, the Predator and Commando, not to mention the Terminator movies. I mean, all those things just it felt like like a bottle got opened, a Pandora's box of
Like a Big
just
Bang almost.
yeah, exactly. It was like that's the thing. It was like 1976, 77. I'm gonna because I want to have Jaws in there too before we get to Star Wars. But
Sure.
when that happened, it just had this. It was this explosive cultural entertainment moment that it's amazing to me. It's 50 years later. We're riding that kind of wave. It's still got that ripple effect. And that's
Yeah.
because a lot of it has been people have gone back to the well again and again and again and done things or been inspired by it. But it really kind of it took all those things took great influence from the past, the old Saturday morning serials and all those
Best
things and
things
the
do.
Buck Rogers and all that stuff. But something something happened, and if I could talk to my 9 year old self, I would say, get ready for the not just the ride of your life every time you go to the cinema, but the ride you'll take for the rest of your life. How's that sound?
That's absolutely fantastic. Fox, my God. Every answer was beautiful. I, I can't thank you enough for all this. For now, think of the technical problems we had before. Did they even happen? Who cares now? Because we just had
I know.
a
I was
full
there and
hour
I
of
was like,
talking
I'm
about
going to
stuff.
be the guest you never had.
My God, I thank you so much for being on. I can't wait to
My
see more
pleasure.
of your stuff on Instagram. I hope this has maybe blossomed something within you. But thank you so much for being on the show. I really, really appreciate you for just being you, not just how you dress and look like an Indiana Jones, but who you are as a person. I appreciate it so much, and I'm sure many others do. You're a great dude, and it's such an honor to have you on the show.
You're very kind, my friend. I am off from work tomorrow, so I guess I'm going to upload some things onto Instagram. Uh, Give it a like, would you? Or
I,
however Instagram works. And
yes, it is a like, yes.
and to everybody watching, thank you so much. And to your previous guests, you guys have all been so entertaining and so informative. I've learned things by checking out this show every week. So this is a good idea. And if you're new to this hobby, keep checking back in here because that guy right above me, if he doesn't know it, he's going to bring on people who know
And that's why I always have people to bring on because I don't know everything.
it.
Fox, have a great night, my friend. You take care.
You too, my friend. I'm going to press the little red button and take myself out of here.
I'll do it.
Let's see if that
I shall
happens.
remove you.
You will? Okay.
I'm the god. I'm the god. Uh, all right. Boy, oh boy, that. Yeah, I was kind of geeking out a bit for a good while there. A lot of those answers, everything he was saying was just like, yeah, what a great role model. Like this is the role model of cosplaying, Indiana Jones. That's it. You just watched it. You just watched it happen live on this show or repeated on Instagram or YouTube, whatever. So thank you all so much for watching this show tonight. That was a blast of a show. Next week is going to be another blast of a show because we're going to have on returning for the first time since, well, fully at least, since he was the first guest at all on my show, which was a wonderful pleasure. So he's going to be back on the show next Monday talking about Indy's gear. I can't believe we haven't talked about that, but who better to talk about that stuff with than Riser Indy himself, Daniel Riser. He will be my guest next Monday. I can't wait to talk to him, have him back on the show. It's going to be a great one. So I hope you all have a great week. See you next Monday. It'll be live on Instagram, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then, it's kind of like he said, actually, if you're ever lonely, if you ever need someone to talk to, you know where to turn. Right here. You know where to find me. Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Reach out. I'll be there. I'm like a bad penny. I always turn up. Have a great night, everybody. Goodbye.